sure the paperwork's here first.
It is.
Okay, good.
The former town administrator made sure.
Lee, you're all set?
I believe so.
Now, what paperwork are you referring to?
To be signed, the one you were looking at earlier.
Oh, this one, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Do
The-
you need our signature on this?
we do. We do. And what this does is, because our previously scheduled work plan for revaluation has been so disrupted,
Mhm.
we would not be able to complete the final tax rate setting process in time to do fall bills. Therefore, what this does is ask the Department of Revenue to give us a one-time okay to send out preliminary bills this fall on time,
Mhm.
based on 1/2 of last year's valuation
Right.
and at last year's tax rate.
Right.
And then we simply are rewriting the work plan, and we'll go ahead and the bills that go out
In
in
the second
spring
half.
will be the adjusting bills.
That's great.
But it protects the town's revenue, it's something they have in place for emergency situations like this.
Fine.
So we met last Wednesday and signed our parts, but Joanne Graziano, who is the chair of the Bureau of Local Assessment at the Department of Revenue, actually reached out and contacted me, which I thought was so kind of her, to say, you know, I realize things are kind of crazy, how can we help? And so she's ready to receive that
Okay,
and move ahead with processing.
okay.
Good
Thank-
news.
And you
The
need,
deadline for that is August 15th.
August
We're ahead of the
15th,
deadline. We're in there before the deadline. This is fabulous.
okay,
Yeah.
so we're, okay, just signing this for that function. for the day.
Exactly.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we sign this letter. It's a request from the Bureau of Local Assessment that we can do a half-year assessment based on last year's assessment and tax rates.
So moved. Or second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So just a little more information on that. So as far as the second bill in the spring,
Yes,
will that be, if this bill obviously probably comes in lower than the expected rate, then that second bill will be the addition for the first
It
half
will.
plus the,
it will. It
Second
will
half.
simply reflect the difference
Yep.
between the final figure and what was billed in the fall. We're going to prepare a little stuffer to put in the bills at this time, to explain people why this is, you know, how this will work, and that it's a one-time situation.
Yeah.
But,
And you only need one of those signed, correct?
yeah, looks like, I mean, this is what I got
Oh.
from Jan, so she gave me
Right.
this one,
yes,
which is you guys. and
yes, I have to
it,
sign
and
the originals
that.
both to the Department of Revenue, so I will be copy. Go make copies.
So does this go back to you, or should we give this to Tom?
No, this is to me.
All right, great.
This is to me, and I'll get it sent in tomorrow. And we should proceed without any
Okay,
problems with
Let me
that.
see.
all right.
Yep,
More importantly, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling better.
Good.
Today was my first day getting back to work at all, and
Oh, okay.
I'm tired.
Oh, I'm sure.
I
Yeah,
find you know, you don't jump out of things as quickly as you used to, but we're coming.
yeah.
Good.
We're coming.
And your chauffeur handyman is working out
Yes.
okay?
Oh, yes, yes, I have been wonderfully cared for.
All right, all right.
And about, thank you.
So,
I
If Lance
hope he
comes-
pays you well for the privilege.
and if Lance comes
I'm
up
having ice
short,
cream once in a while.
but if Lance comes up short, you let us know.
I will, thank you.
Right.
I will. No, we're good, I think.
Good,
Excellent.
good.
So,
Thank
Lee,
you.
thank you for coming in.
nice
Thank
to
you,
see
Lee.
you again.
Good to see you. And the next time you come in, you'll dance in.
I like that.
Yeah.
Good seeing you. Good seeing you.
Thank you. I love the
I'm
Karen.
glad you feel
Yes,
better.
and Heather.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take those.
Yep,
Okay.
got it.
Want to put those in a folder or anything?
Oh, no.
No?
Thanks,
No,
Lee.
no, I have one.
Right.
So we're in good shape. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Lee. Thanks, Lee.
See you, Tom.
See ya. I didn't see the minutes in. Do you want to?
Actually, you know, the minutes were sent out by Jim to all of us. I assume that everybody
Did you get a copy?
Yes.
had looked at those. The only, and actually in my paper shuffle for Tom, you know, I had the minutes and there was one correction I specifically remember, and that was to do with the amount for the church. You had written
Oh.
down 27,000
Yeah.
to 37,000.
Oh, boy.
So those,
I had a feeling
So
there
those-
was something wrong with that price.
the change is from 27,000 to 37,000 for the minutes that presented last week.
Okay.
for the 29th
Okay,
meeting.
we'll approve them at the next meeting then.
Mhm.
All right.
So we, yep.
And is there too much narrative
No,
in that,
well, the good
in the
news
way I
is
wrote it?
You're all done that, so I thought the
Yeah.
narratives are fine.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, next item on the agenda, sale of town-owned property.
I
What do we have on
can
that?
speak to that, just,
Okay.
I haven't really filled Tom in on that, I did an orientation with Tom this morning from about 9 to 1 or 12:30. So we went through quite a number of things, that's still on the orientation list, which I haven't talked with Tom yet. But as I think both of you are aware, because of tax title takings
Mhm.
through our treasurer, the town has the interesting situation of owning property now. The one that I think we're familiar with is about a year plus ago. That was the one on Route 116, right next to Howard Boyden's house.
Mhm.
Remember, Howard Boyden came and presented some
Right.
information there.
Right.
That property, we had high hopes would be a asset to the town that we could auction off and get some money for the town. It turns out, as I think we remember from our previous meetings, that value is not quite what we had hoped.
Yeah.
So that's presently owned by the town, and the interest is to auction that off and get some money back to cover at least the cost of the tax title taking.
Mhm.
The other two properties that have recently come into the town ownership are 3033 Shelburne Falls Road.
Mhm.
And you deliver mail, I don't know if you've been in that house.
I haven't been
It's,
in it, thank goodness.
It's got an interesting history. The Board of Health, when I was on the Board of Health 2 years ago, we dealt with the present occupants who are no longer there. And that was an issue where there was huge piles of garbage, and Dave Chichester at the time and myself went there and dealt with that situation. Since then, I have personally been there because of my census work, and at that point, there were some additional occupants, and that also was a very
Additional trash.
difficult situation as far as the tidiness of the yard.
Mhm.
Since then, a couple with a child have moved in. So they have been, the fire chief, Bob Baker, made an inspection, found
Mhm.
some difficulties, and the town has taken care of that because we own the property. We have talked with and worked with our town attorney, who has had the sheriff serve a notice.
Mhm.
And that property, again, needs to be dealt with because we don't want to be landlords, we want to sell the property. The third property that we now own recently, similar to the other one, is on the old Cricket Hill. I don't have the number right in front of me, but it's the house
On
as
the
you go
left.
up to the transfer
Right,
station on the
yeah,
left.
yeah.
That one also falls under the auspice of ownership, and again, we've gotten the mowing to be done, and so as landlords, we have that secure. Mary
Rose.
Parker
Parker.
has
Parker Rose,
gotten
yeah.
permission from us to go in and deal with the contents,
Right.
and that's been done.
Right.
And so that's in the same category of we need to do that. So with that history, I think with our new town administrator, working with our town secretary, town treasurer, we should move forward to putting those on the auction block.
All right, well,
Okay.
update on the 3033 Shelburne Falls Road.
Mhm.
Okay, I spoke to our town council last week, and the tenant is considering purchasing the property from us. So,
Which property was that?
this was 3033
3033
Shelburne Falls Road. I told him to see how serious this was, and if it was serious, we would get an appraisal and negotiate a price with the tenant, so.
Right.
Looks like somebody else has moved in.
To 3033? Yeah, it's this couple with the child.
That couple with the child's been there for a while, I think.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's somebody else since,
Oh,
and I'm not sure, but I just thought there was a different name on some of the mail that went there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Great, yeah, so that's good news. So again, the reason it was on tonight's agenda is just to make people aware
Update, okay.
that the town's working on that.
Okay.
All right, let's go through some of the mail. We got a notice, a letter from Mass Department of Transportation, Secretary Richard Davey, who has given us some information that the state has released a total of $200 million in Chapter 90 funding for fiscal year 2014, which is equal to last year's historic amount. And for the town of Conway, our adjusted allotment for fiscal year 2014 is $269,290. So that's to help us fix some roads. Okay.
Make a motion to file.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We got an announcement from,
That was a motion to file. We just go through as far as things to file with the minutes in our notebook. I just make a motion to file and seconded by Jim, all in favor. So with things that we feel appropriate for being with the minutes, we just kind of go through that formality.
got an announcement from the Hampshire County Selectmen's Association that there's a meeting on September the 12th, and Northwestern District Attorney David Sullivan will be the guest speaker. Obviously, we have a meeting on the 12th at Frontier, so that's going to be a conflict. And we were invited to their last meeting as well, which was on the same night as the Franklin County Selectmen's Association meeting. So I'll try to tell them to see if they can schedule their meetings on different nights, because I think it would be helpful for us to attend these meetings if we could. We got our copy of the Beacon in. Everybody got their copy?
Everybody did?
Okay. We got our management letter from Roselli Clark and Associates. And what I'm going to do with this is, we all have a copy that we can read.
Yep.
Do you have a copy?
I'm not sure.
Do you have your copy, Rick?
I do.
Okay, this is my
Hi,
copy.
Kate.
Okay. So I'll refer this to Tom, and he can go over this with the finance team.
Okay.
Kate, how are you? John
Nice to meet you, John.
to
Don't
see
know
you.
I know these guys, but
Yeah,
I know
hey,
you guys
Kate.
all. Nice to see you, Rick. Nice to see you, Jim.
We're just finishing up one or two things. We'll get right
Absolutely.
with you.
Okay, thanks for coming in.
Oh, thank you.
What do you have for us?
Oh, there we go.
All right. We own a business called Deerfield River Portage that is being registered with the town of Conway for about 5 years.
Okay.
And we have always run it out of our house, and we have traditionally met our passengers down at Stillwater and Deerfield, and ferried them around. So basically we've done all of our book work and all of that stuff from my house, but pretty mobile. So we are in the lovely and unfortunate position of growing. And this year we hired 5 additional people to come on board to help us run our business, which has been come with its growing pains. And one of them is that we have outgrown the way that we pick up passengers and move them. And so in an effort to try and figure out how to do things a little differently, given that we've sort of outgrown our original model, we are trying to see if we can run our business out of our home with parking people at our home. So we live right on the Deerfield-Conway town line on Hoosac Road. It is, we've looked at like the access and stuff like that, and although we do have a somewhat narrow driveway, we don't have like 100 people coming at once. You know, it's like a car or a party or something like that coming down. And we don't have a lot of people exiting all at once. It basically is sort of staggered. So our season runs for another about 3.5 weeks. And we want to just inform the town that this is what we're going to be doing. In a sense, it's an experiment. We want to, I looked at like your signage bylaws and stuff like that to see if we could hang an inner tube outside that said that, you know, Deerfield River Portage, and I think that your bylaws say that we can. But the long and the short of it is that we're here to, in a sense, say, we'd like to try this, and in trying this, we would like the town's input, your input, to, in a sense, see if all of this can work out.
Are all the cars gonna be parked on your property?
All the cars are gonna be parked on our property.
Okay. And how many
We own
cars?
23.5 acres.
Okay. How many cars do you think you would have on there at one time?
On a busy day, maybe 20, maybe 30 tops.
Okay.
I don't think that we've ever had more than that. I think the most amount of people that we've ever ferried in a day is 60. And 60 people usually come in cars with
Sure.
4 people. So
Yeah.
one of the best things that I think our business has done is that up at Bardwell's Ferry, all of those cars that wanted to go tubing are no longer parking up there. So we are, in a sense, willing to absorb the impact
Sure.
of all of those people. We pick up garbage at both ends. We've taken a real philosophy of stewardship towards this very enjoyable activity, but we also understand that sometimes people need some guardrails, and Deerfield River Portage has been willing to do that. So
Yeah. How long are those cars usually parked there?
depends how fast the river runs.
Okay.
Typically, this weekend, 3.5 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it could be 3 to 4 hours
Yeah, 3 to 4
sometimes, yeah.
hours
Your
sometimes.
neighbors don't mind?
No, not to the best of my knowledge. We have good working relationships with Scott Decker, who's a budding neighbor, and Spooners. We do have a neighbor who sits behind us.
Jeff and Elaine.
Yeah, Jeff and Elaine. So those guys are very much in support of us.
Sure.
We do have one neighbor who sits further behind us. His name is Drew Powers, and he has brought issue against us for many things that we don't think are necessarily related to us, but we do abut him. But our parking vehicles down our driveway should not affect anything, except for the fact that there are going to be maybe a couple more vehicles exiting and entering our driveway.
Have you spoken to our police chief, Kenny Wimet, at all?
Kenny has been aware of our business for a
Okay.
number of years.
Okay.
He's been in support of us, but I'm happy to approach him and
Yeah, just let him know
Yep.
of the latest
Yep,
development.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
He said, we talked about this, what was it? Was it Peter? You and Kenny and I? Kenny and I, somebody, were talking about it, and he said, for Deerfield, there's just so much, there's a limited amount of parking down at that end.
Yep.
So if some of that comes to your place, then
Yeah.
that'll make a big difference.
Yeah.
And the other part, you talked about the stewardship, and I know there have been times when people have not been good stewards once they got on the river, you know, with coolers and beer and stuff, and then they just sink them in the river.
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing.
Right. So when we meet people, we
You
have
tell
a
them
conversation
the rules.
with them, and
Yeah.
and one of the things that we've always said, because we actually started our business with 2 16-and-a-half, 17-year-olds, and so when you do that, you just can't ask what's in people's coolers. So we could not, and I think that we also we wanted people to, in a sense, take responsibility for themselves. So when we sit down and we have a conversation with people before they get on, we introduce the river, we tell them sort of the in point and the exit point. When we call them, when we are responding to people on the phone, we tell them the river shoes are very much suggested because there are sharp objects in the river, that we carry life jackets, and if they'd like to use them, we don't charge for our life jackets. It's like a life jacket is available to you. We buy good truck tires. Our truck tires are anywhere from $35 to $50 a piece, or wholesale. So they're so we send people down in what we consider river-worthy tubes, and then when we provide a tube for their cooler, because they're on the river for 4 hours, which brings dehydration and, hypoglycemic episodes and stuff like that along with it. We're basically providing a spare tire in case something happens. So that's our way of, in a sense, saying, you know what, we understand that you're going to go down the river for a picnic, but let's try and make some suggestions of how to do that safely. And at the end, because we're meeting those people, and we're actually going to be, we went and got livery plates so that we could shuttle them back up to Hoosac Road, is that we're now counting heads coming off the river. So if somebody goes missing or we have a car parked there, we can very quickly inform somebody and say, look, we had 6 people, we've only got 5 people, where are they? So in a sense, we're the moms, affording basically a safe way to go tubing down the river that comes with a responsibility. We charge for it, and I think that anybody who's coming tubing, we bring people from Boston and Providence, we bring people from a lot of different places. So they get the education, they get the stewardship, they get the mom lecture, and at the end of it, I think that they're already saying, you know what, we kind of want somebody to give us some guardrails going down the river. And so even though some of those groups, we actually transported the Harvard football team a couple of weeks ago, which had its own logistics, but basically here was an opportunity for 32, 24, 3 to 1-year-olds who were probably going to go tubing anyway, to in a sense say to somebody, hey, can you help us do this in a safe and effective manner? We're going to go out on the river and we're going to have fun. And we took care of all of their garbage, we took care of all of that stuff, and they brought in extra stuff, so it was like that stewardship of the exact people that most people are really concerned that are going down the river, saying, we're happy to help those people enjoy the river responsibly and respectfully. And yes, you guys can have fun, but yes, we'll also make sure that you make it off the river safely. And stuff like
So
that.
Kate, speaking of lectures, I forgot, you started so quickly.
Lectures are good.
I just want to lecture that, when new guests come that haven't been here before, we do film our meetings.
Yeah.
So this is the FCAT, Franklin Access Television.
Okay.
So just to make you aware of the fact
Yeah.
that we're being recorded.
Awesome.
Great.
Kate, it sounds like you're doing a really good job.
We're trying.
And thanks for coming in and letting us know.
I appreciate it.
I think the only thing we'd have to tell you is just touch base with Kenny,
Absolutely.
our police chief, and just, get his input on it.
So we appreciate any feedback. I know that, there are some people who have seen our vehicles and have called us and said, slow down or whatever else. And when we get that feedback, we immediately turn around and we try to make the corrections. So if there's anything that concerns you guys, we are very, very approachable. We think this is a really good business, but we also think that it's a gift to this area, both the river maintenance, stuff like that, but also all the money that we make basically comes right back into the community. So we support Helen, and we are happy to work closely with us, and we really appreciate the opportunity to do this. Thank you.
Okay, terrific.
How's
Thanks
the
for
river
coming in.
running?
River, if you guys want to go tubing, now is the time.
I haven't been in 2 or 3 years, and we usually wait until they release, but I don't know how it's been running.
To be quite
generally.
honest, after Irene, the release doesn't make a hoot and hell difference. So basically there are 4 deep holes in the river, and they catch all of that water. Transpiration from the trees is what sucks it up, and by the time it comes from the releases, it might be about this much. So we actually, last year when it was a drought, we looked at it and said, it's a waste of time doing it. So we schedule people on the hour, and we tell them that they have to walk, but the rains the last couple on Friday really made the river it's a perfect temperature, perfect speed. Nobody was bumping their butts, and we'd be happy to give you a ride so that you don't have to do it.
Well, I always wear those shoes.
Very smart, Jeff, very smart.
Because I know that there are places you sometimes have to get out.
Yeah. Well, what we say to people is that if you're the kind of people that like your food a little bit more than others, if you're a skinny 16-year-old, you'll have no problem. But if you like your food a little bit, there are some areas where it's a little bit shallower, and basically stand up,
Feel drag,
reposition.
yeah.
But that's why the shoes are so important.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Alright.
thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
today.
Thank you, really appreciate it. Tom,
Take
Jim,
care.
Yep,
All
thanks.
right,
Rick,
good luck.
Rick,
Dave.
and thank you for the council, by the way. I
Sure,
really
absolutely,
appreciate
you're
it.
welcome.
And
There's what she said.
thank you, really appreciate it. Nice to meet you too.
Take care.
Take care. Yep. Deerfield River Portage.
You're online?
Yes, www.drportage.com. Thank you very much.
Okay, next item on the agenda, or in the mail, we have Frontier Regional School reconciliation for this past year. And I'll refer this to Tom. He can go over this with the finance team.
Mhm.
Okay. Do we have any concerns tonight?
Not so much concerns, but just since we are on camera and a few people watch this, just an announcement that our new town administrator, Tom Hutchinson, has arrived on the scene. Today was his first day on the job. Tom comes to us from Warfield. He's been a select board member there. He's been an administrator there for a couple of years. He comes with a lot of good experience. His hiring was a pleasure because we received all sorts of good recommendations, and I've been doing a little bit of orienting of him today, which will continue for the rest of the week. And then Tom will be our administrator, who will bring us to the next levels with some of the projects we have, such as our highway garage and all the issues that come before the board and before the town. So I'm thrilled that Tom is here, because I get to get out of that seat, and I think that Tom will be a great asset to the town. So
Welcome aboard, Tom.
Thank
Yep.
you very much.
Any other concerns?
Can't think of any right now.
Okay, our next meeting is scheduled for August 26th, at 7 o'clock here. I'd like a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.